see how we're really going to achieve our, national development.
I know.
Goals, because that's the only way to transform the country, know. So we have to start with seeing how do we transform the businesses to get to the level where we can also export. I mean, right now we're even exporting a lot, but if you look at the kind of things we're exporting, the food, mostly it's in raw form. So the value is not as high as if we're exporting products that
have value added.
Yes, that are value added. So the opportunity for small businesses to transform is there, but most important is it's imperative if we're to really transform from a subsistence economy to a commercialized economy, which is where we want to go, as a country. But we can't do that unless we add value, we innovate, we research, and then ensure that our businesses are actually of that level. So many businesses, of course we have the big businesses as well, and I think they also play an opportunity in mentoring the small businesses. And so we also organize exchange learning visits, because you need to know what is out there. Exposure visits, make sure that these people participate in exhibitions, because that's where you get a lot of ideas of, this person is doing this. Exhibitions both, locally, but also internationally. So these are very key. So exposure. Some business people, when they asked to contribute to go to, say, to these exposure visits, they want you to pay for them.
I know.
And they don't realize
that it's actually for their benefit.
It is for their own benefit. It's for their own benefit, because the learning you get is what will enable you to jumpstart your business and take it to the next level. Because you're learning from big people who have
done these things for a longer time.
And at a larger scale. So exposure, I would say, for small businesses, they need to invest in exposure to what is out there, both locally, and there are very many opportunities. I think just recently, last week, there was a exhibition by the Uganda Small Scale Industries Association, and actually we supported the business people, entrepreneurs we're working with, to participate, and they said it was such an eye-opener for them.
Because you learn even from others who come to exhibit. You learn from those that you talk to. You realize that actually the challenges that you face are the same challenges they face. Maybe you get ideas on how they go about them. And then I think that is very, very powerful.
Yes,
very important.
And of course also making, it's also very important, networking, networking opportunities. Because that's how you get the business deals. That's how you get to know who needs what, and you could supply them with these products. So very key to get out of your own space, get out of the comfort zone. Get out of the small company. Get out of your...
And I know that for sure that they usually say that the kid that doesn't move keeps thinking that the mother is the best cook. But until you get out there and you realize that there are very many other better cooks out there. So it's also true that when you keep within your own small zone and you don't get out there to see what the other big businesses do, you definitely are bound to keep thinking that what you're doing is the best. Maybe you don't have a wider understanding of the business. And I think that somehow will hinder growth. Pamela, as we near the end of the show, it's important that we also appreciate that sometimes the capacity building that we do, the capacity building that the small businesses need, sometimes also comes and it has its own challenges. I will give you the challenge number one is that sometimes us who support them, we meet a cost and we must invest in them. Maybe I should also ask that, is it possible that some people who support such small businesses, do they have, like we already said some time back, that financial institutions sometimes have hidden terms and conditions. When I, Chokushka, stand and say, let me support these small businesses to grow, in most cases, is there something that I'm looking at me as myself getting from or there, or do I just have a good heart for a good Samaritan that I support people and they get there?
Well, I think it should be a win-win scenario at all times. You as a business consultant will definitely not be wanting to provide your services free. And so probably you need to be paid for that.
Sure.
But also the small business entrepreneurs also need to recognize that they need these skills.
And they need to invest in it.
And need to invest. Like I said, business growth comes at a cost. And that's something they have to appreciate. But of course, what cost are we talking about? Because I think the cost has to be commensurate to the kind of people you're supporting. You're not going to go to this, what would I say, a woman who's just maybe selling, bananas, and then ask her for what? How much do you charge? 500,000?
Yeah, 500,000.
Yeah, I think, yes. So I think you need to recognize that, certain thresholds exist in certain businesses, and then you have to price accordingly. But also the opportunity that we've seen, that we always encourage them, is again going back to the numbers. There's power in numbers. So if they're organized in groups, for example, they can invite you, and each of them can contribute maybe 10,000, and that's something maybe they could be able to afford, 5,000. And collectively, maybe this could come to about 100,000. And you take that, right?
For the banana. That can afford them a few, few hours of talk.
So again, they need to see how to come together and use their numbers to be able to get these services.
Sure.
Because individually, I may not be able to afford 100,000.
I know.
But if I'm with my colleagues and so whether you're talking to me as an individual or talking to 20 people, the same thing, right? It's the same knowledge you're offering. So those are the opportunities that they need to harness. And I think they already exist. If you go to most of the, even in the central business district, in the business hubs, many of them are actually forging partnerships. So I think the power of partnerships is very key in any business. So when you feel that you probably at a certain point you want to go in it alone, you could still do it alone, but for certain areas like capacity building, like mobilizing credit, the numbers are very key. Okay,
I think that would be very, very important and very, very key. You mentioned very important that people need to appreciate that this capacity building comes at a very cost, and here we are giving you very credible information for free. I hope that you have listened and watched and you have picked a lot of ideas, and you think now you know where to go to get capacity building. In most cases, there are private providers that give this capacity building and this training, the mentorship, and all those. And it's key that we appreciate that we do not actually keep where we are, but we look towards where we want to be in the next few years and do all we can to get there. Thank you so much, Pamela, for creating time to come and talk to us about capacity building, because, like I said, very many entrepreneurs out there, small businesses, are looking towards getting all this knowledge so that we can actually get people to appreciate our businesses and we grow. So I want to thank you so much. Maybe if you could say your last word to the viewers out there.
Thank you, Alex.
Yes,
my last word is to encourage every business entrepreneur that they can make it. They can grow their businesses, they can make their businesses profitable, they can make these businesses thrive if they have the basics.
Sure.
And the basics, we've already gone through those basics,
Sure.
you know. So first of all, set your goal, have a plan,
Yep.
and then, you know, ensure that you adhere to those
Sure.
plans, and then partnerships.
Thank you so
Partnerships
much.
are very key.
The nice things always end when they are still sweet. I feel like continuing, but unfortunately we cannot run it further than this.
Yeah.
That has been the Business Clinic on Smart 24, building capacity for businesses, small businesses, because then we want to see bigger businesses coming up. And we come to you live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and every Sunday at 8 p.m. We hope that you find this show very valuable. Always feel free to give us your feedback, because we want to know again that you're actually taking value from this. Give us where you think we need to improve so that we can actually serve you better. Like I always say, our business is to better your business. Chokwejik Alexander, I've been your host. Until next time, a good evening.
Smart 24.